Hello and welcome. You're joining us. That's me and Ajit Gulabchand at Lavasa, a site that has certainly become largely disputed and mired in controversies. But let's get some stories correct, on record, factual information on HCC's side as well. Give us the whole story of the fact that at the moment we are expecting the Environment Ministry officials to come down here. What is it that you're going to be able to show them as a response to their various allegations?
Well, as the MOEF ministry's officials who are doing the hearing have been asked by the court to go and visit Lavasa and be there for 3 days in order to study it. Now, so when they come here, we still do not know exactly what they will study, but we lay down to them all the necessary environmental work that we have done, pursuant to the hill station policy,
Right.
pursuant to the environment impact assessment that has been done, study that has been done, and the mitigating features that we have adopted, and also what we have adopted as all the various experts around the world who, including Janine Benyus, the founder of biomimicry, has suggested.
Sure.
All these experts are on standby to also depose before them.
But since you already have a sense of their allegations, to an extent it's of course about infringement of environment laws, what is it that HCC is preparing to say in its own defense?
Well, to be honest, until we see, they are very general allegations. So those are repetitions of what Beda Patkar and Northern Alliance have placed before them.
According to HCC?
Yeah, according to HCC, and if you read the allegations of Beda Patkar and if you see their final order, I mean the interim order, they are almost in most types even verbatim.
Are you saying that the minister, the environment minister or the ministry are biased towards Beda Patkar's allegations?
They mentioned them as charges made by Beda Patkar. But the fact is that these are the charges. So general charges are very difficult to answer. When they come here, we will specifically lay down to them what exactly we have done in the area of environment,
Sure.
pursuant to all the policies under which we have acted.
So one of the key and the most important charges right from the start has been that there has been construction above the prescribed limit of 1,000 meters or 900 meters. Now what is it that you have constructed and why this allegation? What would be your defense on this allegation?
The allegation is that since we have constructed above 1,000 meters, this falls under the purview of the MOEF to approve this project. Now this is only a question of turf, that who should approve. If it's about 1,000 meters, it's MOEF. Second is, the only structure we have about 1,000 meters is a symbolic arch that has been created as an entry point to Lavasa.
But why was the permission not taken right after
There
the
was no,
start?
first of all, this is simply an arch. It costs less than 5 crores, so the permission is not required. So, and even if the permission was required, it's only regarding that arch, not the rest of the project, because that does not fall above 1,000 meters.
But technically speaking, the Ministry of Environment can always turn around and say that any construction is construction, right?
No, I'm sorry. This is sort of trying to find a sort of some kind of a splitting hair. It's obviously not construction. This is simply a symbolic arc. It could have been a toll road, toll booth tomorrow. This is immaterial. When we mean in creating a whole new town or a city, what we mean is substantive construction that forms the city. So I don't think so.
But do you regret the fact that originally the permission that was not sought for some of these areas, in terms of the land that you have, should have been sought from the Environment Ministry? Because if that is the allegation, that the permission wasn't sought in the first place, and therefore let's
put this straight. Let's give a little bit of history to this. The Maharashtra government had a Hill Station Act and invited people to participate in their program to create hill stations and hill cities.
Right.
Several people like Ambi Valley, other people have also applied, so did we. And we got the permission. So this is a kind of public-private partnership with the Maharashtra government. They laid down certain environment guidelines in the Hill Station Act, both objectives and measurable guidelines. Second is that as far as we were concerned, the 1994 guidelines very clearly exempted us from going anywhere, and they told us that the state government permission is more than enough. Besides, tourism projects in that have been exempted even by the MOEF. The subsequent 2004 amendments do not violate this section 18, which gives this exemption. So we, in our minds, were absolutely clear that as far as we are concerned, we really don't need it.
Is there a discord, according to you, between what's happening at the centre versus the state government policy on environment?
There is. But in 2006, they changed the notification. That made it very clear that for subsequent things we have to go. And in that context, every permission that we have sought subsequently, whether it be for a power pipe transmission line, or whether for a tunnel, or for the matter for the next 3,000 hectares of development, we have gone to the MOEF. And the MOEF is for last 15 months is considering that proposal.
Right.
So it's not as if we are very clear that we did not require. In any case, I think our bona fides are very clear. If you ask me, do I regret? Maybe I should have said, even if we don't require, let's still go and get it.
Right.
Wasn't that difficult to get those permissions? It was really out of a
But all this has
clear
had an impact,
understanding.
a huge impact rather, not just on your market cap, but also on your plans for the Lavasa IPO.
Yeah.
Today, what do you want to justify to your investor about what have been the allegations of the Ministry of Environment?
See, as far as to justify to my investors is very clear. We are very clear that we did not need the Ministry of Environment permission. However, we feel extremely disturbed that the Ministry of Environment should have passed such a harsh show cause notice, asking us just because of whether they should have approved or Maharashtra government should have approved, and for violations we may have committed, to have actually stopped work here and restore status quo ante to 2005.
So, for all the allegations
But
they've made,
look at the damage that happened. 10,000 people lost their jobs. There are 2,000 third-party third-party rights created that are violated. There are schools built for the villagers here that have to be broken down.
Yeah.
The 800,000 trees we have planted in pursuant
what
to the
kind of
policy.
money are we talking about?
We're talking about losing 2 crores a day here. Plus, they knew that the IPO was on, and the HCC law, and whose money? It's not just my money, which is a small holding in HCC. The rest of it is public money.
Right.
So as far as we are concerned, I thought that, the minister mentioned that our response was vituperative. The
Yes.
show cause notice was vituperative. Our response, on the other hand, has been quite mild and civilized.
But you have been calling some of these allegations rather frivolous, right?
I did not say that at any time. I have only mentioned that they are wrong, and we will be able to prove so. And as I said, even if, let us say, it gets decided, tomorrow the courts decide that it was the MOF who should have given the permission and not state government, have we done something so terribly wrong that cannot be rectified? They have
So what is the way forward? Is there a solution to this, and is that solution coming in? See, there are two ways to look at it. One, they will see an interim solution, which will mean a little bit of pain for HCC and a little bit of solution for MOEF. The other side is, which we've seen, yes, block further construction, but they could also be what would be, well, raise it to the ground. So obviously, the stakes are high to raise it to the ground.
You so easily put it of raising it to the ground. Why did we build this? This was a promise of the state government of Maharashtra that you come and build here. They declared the area. We went and bought land. We created this whole
Is the
thing.
state government supporting you?
Of course it is supporting.
Through and through all of this versus the Ministry
it
of
is under
Environment?
their own requirements that this has been done. Under their own approvals this has been done. So why wouldn't they? Of course they are supporting us.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. We're going to discuss with him the allegations made by Medha Patkar in detail. Stay with us. We're at Lavasa in conversation with Ajit Gulabchand. Welcome back. We're in conversation with Ajit Gulabchand at the Lavasa site. Mired in controversy so far, but getting some answers to know where is the road ahead and is there a solution in sight. I want to pick up a couple of issues that have really been top of headlines for the past few months now. These happen to be the allegations by Medha Patkar. Start with, she highlights the role of Sharad Pawar in this project and says that, this project not only has him as the mastermind, but at some stage he seemed to have benefited financially from this project up to a tune of 2,000 crores. What is the response of Lavasa on that?
I would refuse to respond to Medha Patkar's allegations on the point that they are wild, and it's best she first provides some proof before one can answer them. However, as regards the ownership at one time of a certain amount of holding in Lavasa Corporation by Sharad Pawar's son,
Yes.
who also happens to be son-in-law, who
Son-in-law,
also
right.
happens to be Balchandra Sure, former managing director of Mahindra and Mahindra's son, who was on the board of HCC for a long time. His son, who sold out because the project got too big and he didn't wish to continue that.
Sold out in 2006.
2004. So he's out of this long ago, approximately around that time. So fundamentally, that this has been disclosed, not disclosed once, several times. We are a publicly listed company, HCC. Lavasa is ready for IPO. All this is completely in the public domain.
But why do you say her allegations are wild?
As far as I'm concerned, she said 2,000 crores and all these guys. I cannot answer this. I'm sorry. Unless she provides some proof. She did support the Sunday Times of London and gave them a lot of information on us, based on which they published an article. We took them to court in London. When it finally came to trial, they sought a mediation, accepted that those allegations were wrong, apologized and paid us costs for it. So, but they go on getting repeated in this country. It is difficult for me to answer.
Right. You're saying that there is no paperwork backing Medha Patkar?
Yes, nothing.
Is it therefore also assumed, based on your saying she has no paperwork, that Sharad Pawar has nothing to do with this project?
I've told you 10 times that one is that he has no financial involvement in this project.
Okay.
Simple. This has been disclosed several times and this is very clear.
Okay. Let's pick up the whole issue of land acquisition. That's not to say it's only about this project, but it happens across the country where land issues are currently still unclear. Why is there an allegation about Lavasa that the land was acquired as low as 500 rupees an acre in certain talukas?
I'm sorry. First, let us answer the question of acquisition.
Okay.
No eminent domain was applied to acquire land by government in this area. When this area, which was demarcated by the government, a hill station policy, as per the hill station policy, which was created during the tenure of the BJP and Shiv Sena government in Maharashtra, I must tell you that the land has been bought on negotiated basis from farmers over the last 10 years. And I must also add that most of the farmers we bought this land from, most means almost beyond 60-70%,
Right.
came from Bombay, Pune, rest of India, Dubai and from United States.
So then you're saying that the negotiations couldn't have necessarily been for 500 rupees an
So
acre?
some of, not certainly for 500 rupees an acre, but the point is, over a period of 8-9 years when you buy land, at the time when the people had no faith in the project, it goes on increasing. But the fact is that that is it. It's on negotiated basis. So this whole idea of that land being acquired does not exist in this project.
And in that sense, you then refute Medha Patkar's allegations so far that the villagers are anti the Lavasa project.
No, what is there to refute? The group Gram Panchayat of 18 villages in the Lavasa area have passed a unanimous resolution supporting the project, have intervened in the court case, have also intervened in the hearing of the MOEF. So, what is the allegation that she's making?
And this documentation is there for you to support.
Yeah, it is there.
Even as
It's
you
filed
say
in
that,
court. Yeah.
what is it that Lavasa feels it's done for the villagers around in this region?
You know, this place was sad when it came here. A lot of place was denuded. This place was sad because we are not discussing environment. Now we are discussing what the livelihood was here. It was so bad that they had no access to any kind of medical aid. They had no access to anything. They even had to bury their dead during the monsoon, exhume them after the monsoon was over to cremate them. They used to do slash and burn farming as well as burn forests so the animals would run down and then they would kill and eat. That was the lifestyle that existed here. By the Lavasa project coming here, these villagers have schools, these villagers have been able to have access to water, electricity, which we were able to give them. Not only that, we have created a wonderful school here for ultimately 1,000 children called Crystal House. This is a privileged school for underprivileged.
So when the Environment Ministry officials come down, you're going to actually build some of your argument based on this?
No, wait a minute. I think you're confusing the issue, Shaili. Let us understand there are issues of environment.
Yeah. And the multiple PILs.
The multiple PILs are a separate issue.
But they refer to the
you're
benefits of the villagers or people
Please,
around
one
the
moment.
region.
You're confusing the two issues, because one is Environment Ministry is concerned with the environment issues.
Right.
The rest are other issues which PILs might have been filed and have very little to do with the environmental aspects. Meda Patkar is no environmentalist.
Right.
Okay? So the issue is environment separate, the rest of the issues separate.
Right.
There's a PIL and we will deal with the PIL as when we have to deal with it, when the state committee creates its report. But the rest, I'm staying with what you asked me about what we have done for the villagers. Let me tell you, this is a very special school. The Crystal House that had its first class graduate from in Bangalore, 3 of them went to Stanford on full scholarship. So we're creating opportunity for the villager children here, not just to go have a little better life, but to go to Oxford and to Stanford and to MITs of the world.
Right. Okay, so we are now talking about these two issues. I know they're separate issues,
Yeah,
but from your investor standpoint, sometimes they do look like too much of a larger issue associated with what has been the potential Lavasa story.
I think we have kept our investors completely informed. Everything that happens in Lavasa has been on the website. We've followed a policy of complete transparency. Good and bad is posted. Everybody is completely kept informed, and we are not seeing this confusion in the investors' mind.
But when you look at the fact that currently this case is sitting in the High Court,
Yes.
do you think that after the 10th of January, if the Ministry of Environment doesn't go, well, find either a solution or the decisions that are circulating around your environmental violations, the alleged violations, then you would approach the Supreme Court?
See, listen, I don't want to, we'll cross the bridge when we come to it. First of all, as far as we are concerned, I still believe the Ministry of Environment has so far been misled by these Meda Patkar's National Alliance, and once they come here, they will start seeing the merit of what we are saying. Second is, if at all the investors are worried, they're worried about where is India going. Are they going to renege on promises made earlier? Are they going to rake up what happened 5 years ago? And are they going to stop projects suddenly in the middle of things? And I think that is a bigger concern of the foreign investor. Not only clarity. If it is a future project you're not clearing, they say, all right, this is not done in India, it doesn't matter.
Do you think the government has had an agenda against large projects? I mean, Ambi Valley also happens to face some issues now, certainly after the Lavasa issue was brought to the fore. Do you think that there is an issue about big projects and they're being sidelined in some way?
I'm sorry, I don't know what is happening, but I would like to see a very clear environmental policy which lays down objective and standard, measurable standards for environment. We have worked with Leeds in the Building Green Association in India in order to create standards for towns and townships. You have green standards for buildings, but you don't have them for townships. We have with us Janine Benius, the founder of Biomimicry Guild, who takes the idea of ecology and restoring sustainable development to another level.
When you decided on this project, you must have made the Maharashtra government, which was very much in support of this, abreast of these issues.
Oh, sure we have.
And if they are supporting you, in what ways are they able to highlight some of these, some of these benefits that you're talking about?
We are talking of a large investment in this state. It's going to be over the next 10-15 years. The total investment of different universities, software firms, hospitality that will come to this place is about 40,000 crores.
Is this becoming too much of a Lavasa versus Meda Patkar story?
I'm sorry, not at all. I don't want to raise her to the level of that kind of stuff.
Okay, but you said this now. This project started in 2000? Around 2000?
Yeah.
So we obviously have gone through different governments since then.
Yes.
To what extent would you attribute this flip-flop in what's going on in terms of policy and the various alleged allegations?
I think we need to lay down really rules of business with the Environment Ministry? What exactly is our definition of what we are seeking about environment?
What do you think is driving the Environment Ministry at this time, at this juncture, to talk about these
Well,
projects?
I'll say, let's put it this way. As far as I see it, I think the Environment Ministry wants to bring seriousness about environment to this country, and that we must have certain concerns of environment as we build development. Now, in doing so, we need to create a full concept of what constitutes environmental issues, what are the objective standards which are measurable that we should create. It's a big story. It's a tedious task of creating them, working with industry, working with activists, working with
But someone
everybody.
can argue, well, the time is now, and that
Yeah, sure,
they
but-
are happening.
But are they happening? Can we let us have a clear idea as to what are the standards that we have? Can we create them?
What is the future of the Lavasa IPO?
Well, let's close this chapter. I'm sure the MOEF will one day see that we are doing work for the environment.
Have you spoken to Mr. Jairam Ramesh since the time of the order?
No, I haven't.
Is it because you don't have the opportunity, or is it because you have to go
I don't
through
have the
legal path?
opportunity.
You don't have the opportunity. So let's say you get an opportunity tomorrow. What
Yeah.
is it that you're going to tell?
I'd say exactly what I told you. Let's work on it. We are on your side. We want environmental standards to come. We've done a hell of a lot of work in the area. And we would like to be partners to create this.
If the solution is a penalty, what would it be like for you?
I will cross the bridge when it comes to what is the
But
solution.
you would be open to an idea where it's a solution or a middle path is a penalty.
If
Because
you're
from their point of view, these are allegations. And if these are allegations that you may refute because you're the affected party, that doesn't mean whereas other parties involved will also agree to that.
Well, I'm not saying that, I'm not asking all the parties to agree to it for the sake of agreeing.
Right.
I'm asking other parties to agree to it because we have done some very good work here. And as long as it does not reflect that we have done something terrible, any kind of compromise is possible.
So, and in that sense, going to Supreme Court is not your preferred route.
I never said that.
It could be.
I said to you, we'll cross the bridge when we come to it.
You must be though prepared for it, isn't it? Because these are situations that have been rather unpredictable.
To
and
be
full of
very honest,
surprises.
for such a show cause notice, nobody in the world can be prepared.
Another aspect, talking of approvals to that effect, some of the recent approvals that you've sought from the Environment Ministry have come through for
Yeah,
various
yeah,
other
correct.
aspects. Does that give you a sense of hope that this project, through the current
As I
few
said,
orders,
see.
has tried to suggest that, this project should be held up, it doesn't matter where it goes from here, so on. That's been the tone, right? There's been talk about how this has been a very, what I would say, straightforward and to an extent extremely
Yeah.
scathing tone of the order. Do you have hope that since various other projects have been given the go-ahead, the Environment Ministry probably doesn't mean it that harshly?
Listen, you need to be an eternal optimist to do a project like this.
Which you are.
What do you think?
Okay, on that note, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.